messages and emails that I get, because that's really where I see my ability to continue to create art. It comes from the patronage of folks that come and support, and that really, like, even pressing a like, even pressing a heart button on a social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that is just so important, and it gives me so much more to kind of endeavor and push forward. So yeah, they can find me on social media. My social media handle at this point is Jae Jin Music, JaeJin Music, and even if they were to drop me a message online and just say, hey, I heard you on the radio show, whatever, then I'll send them a digital copy for free of the album. So you can let your listeners know that, and I'll extend that, and would love to just stay in contact with them and answer anything else that they any questions that they have.
That's fantastic. And well, we're looking forward to staying in contact with you into 2017. We know you've got a great album coming out. Not only an album that is, Kairos had won such great awards. It was critically acclaimed, done entirely in English. Your next album that's coming out in 2017, I understand, is going to be in Korean, and I can't wait to hear bits and pieces of that as well, and feature some of the songs here on Pop Song Tech too. But I'd love to hear about the background here and what brought the motivation about for the song Ain't About Love, which is our featured song today on Pop Song Tech.
Right. So Ain't About Love is actually, what's funny is I actually wrote a blog piece. I used to write a couple anonymous blogs that had some fairly big followings a few years back, and I just got back into the fold. And instead of kind of pushing it out, I left it on my music site. So if you go to my music site, jjmusic.com, and you click on blog, you can read the first two blog posts on the first two tracks that I chose from the album. And Ain't About Love really, in a nutshell, and you can read in detail about why I wrote that song and what that song entails, but it really comes down to this idea. It's almost like my middle finger to love songs. I know that sounds horrible, but it really is, because what I think that love is, without having been married yet, but what I imagine in my short years of living, what I've come to the conclusion is that love is when you take two imperfect, broken people and you bring them together to try to make something work that will not work in this lifetime in this perfect Hollywood way. What it is love is stemming from this idea of making that commitment to keep trying. Mm-hmm. And you making that commitment to keep trying every day. You wake up and you do your best to put the other person first, to try and attempt to show selfless love and work at it and work at it and work at it and keep doing it, and in that there's a lot of beauty, I think, that is to be found in loving and being loved. And that's really kind of what the song entails. And on YouTube, I actually worked on a storyboard and worked with a creative friend of mine to do a stop motion music video for that. And you can find that, and it's kind of a fun little way where we use these like little puppets that go around, and there's so many things happen, but you keep committing to keep trying. Yeah. So that's really what Ain't About Love is. Yeah.
I love it. That's a fantastic YouTube video. We'll certainly tweet that, put it on Facebook this week as well. It is a great music video to go along with a great song here, Ain't About Love. Jay, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on Pop Song Tech.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the listeners for tuning in.
You got it. So we've got Jae Jin up next here with the featured song today, the pop song and Pop Song Tech. This is Ain't About Love.
You might hide it with that smile on your face, but I see it in your eyes. I get this feeling that inside there've been days you couldn't smile no matter how hard you tried. You paint over your emotions like a tragic work of art. Though I don't know what you've been through, I can feel your beating heart. This ain't about love. This ain't about love. This ain't about love. It's the most beautiful smiles and the most broken of people inside. It's the most beautiful smiles and the most broken of people inside. Well, I know you get addicted to the things that take away the pain. I'll sit right there with you till the skies just fade into my heart. You paint over your emotions like a tragic work of art. Though I don't know what you've been through, I can feel your beating heart. This ain't about love. This ain't about love. This ain't about love. It's the most beautiful smiles and the most broken up people inside. It's the most beautiful smiles and the most broken up people inside. Paint over your emotions like a tragic work of art. Though I don't know what you've been through, I can feel your beating heart. This ain't about love. No, this ain't about love. It's the most beautiful smiles and the most broken up people inside. It's the most beautiful smiles and the most broken up people inside.
And that was Ain't About Love from Jae Jin. Want to sincerely thank Jae again for joining us today on Pop Song Tech and wish him all the best with his upcoming release of the next album here that he's got coming out, the Korean album there in 2017. And if you haven't picked it up already, just go Google Kairos from Jae Jin. There you can find it. He said on 58 platforms. That's pretty incredible, right? So we're moving now, though, from the music portion into the tech portion of Pop Song Tech. And today we're talking about total audience measurement in the video space in particular. How many people are watching a particular show? So Jay was talking about his time there on the show there on Netflix called House of Cards. I believe it was season 2, episode 3, for those of you following at home. We had an audio clip from it also at the beginning of the show today. But, how many people are watching a television show? Who cares? Well, lots of people care. They care about it for lots of reasons. Some of those reasons are bragging rights. My show got bigger ratings than yours did. Some of them are for, being able to show advertisers the impact of their dollar spend. Isn't it true, though, that there has to be an economy around this industry? It's the dollars that kind of drive the jobs. The jobs create the actors' opportunities and the ability to pay those actors to produce amazing content, the great stories, etc. But all of this comes back down to, a simple saying that I've been saying for my entire career, basically. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And the industry had gotten kind of comfortable in its ability to measure these things with the standard tools there from Nielsen back when, going all the way back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, where everybody would just sit back and, Thursday night at 8 o'clock, how many people were tuning on to prime time to check out what's going on NBC or CBS or ABC. With the explosion of channels and options and now platforms and devices and people watching so much more video on the go. I mean, I was at the doctor's appointment this morning for my daughter's regular checkup, and we were sitting there waiting, and she's there watching Umi Zoomy on Amazon Prime Video, and I'll bet you Nielsen doesn't know that we were watching that. So the problem has been that the advertising industry built itself up in parallel around the media industry, which built itself up in parallel around the ability to measure that. You've got people like Bill Harvey, who we featured on an earlier episode of Pop Song Tech. Certainly encourage you to go back and listen to that episode. That was episode number 23 here. He's really kind of a leader, a legend in the advertising research industry. He'll tell you all these stories. He's been kind of a leader of the change throughout the various periods of technological disruption and is so again today. But so much has changed, and the industry hasn't come around to being able to come up with a solution to count these things, which means that things have gotten very inefficient, which means that the return that investors or that advertisers have on their investments on ads, they're losing some efficiency in that place, which means that there's probably tremendous arbitrage opportunities out there. Well, along comes a couple players in the industry. One of them is called ComScore. ComScore's been around for a couple decades now, and they grew up in the digital space, being able to measure the number of people going to .coms. That's where ComScore comes out of, scoring the number of viewerships of people going to .coms. And they've made the transition over, or started to make the transition over, into the television space with a product that they launched last year called X Media, which is meant to talk about cross-platform media. And it seemed like they were kind of nipping at the heels of Nielsen until they started tripping over themselves with accounting problems and all sorts of interior management challenges. And it's not quite clear where they're going to net out. But in the meantime, Nielsen's been moving forward with trying to push out its total audience measurement solution. And they've gained a lot of traction in their mind, at least. In the talk in the industry, you've got the gorilla in the industry, which is Nielsen, that's out there saying we've got total audience measurement, and you've got the cats that are in the industry running away from the gorilla to a degree and saying, okay, yes, you do. You've got total audience measurement, until one of those cats this past week stood up after talking with all the other cats and said, wait a second. That total audience measurement thing that you've got coming out in 2017, no, it doesn't work. Sorry, it doesn't work. And so NBC raised their arms this week to talk about this. So we're going to dig into that in a little bit of detail, talk about kind of what's going on here in the industry, because this is screwing up, the television space, because they can't count these things. It's messing with the advertisers. You heard in our Pocket Full of Sounds today, Michael Roth talking about even in the Facebook space, with them not being able to count properly, that's having an impact as well. Dollars are flowing. I mean, billions and billions of dollars are flowing around. I think the advertising industry in the U.S. For television alone is over $75 billion. So there's a lot of money floating around in this space that is being handled inefficiently. So I've got a couple articles that I was able to pull together here, kind of talking about what happened over this past week. Drama in the audience measurement space. It's funny. I talk to people. I'm like, I never thought I'd get so excited about audience measurement, but so be it. An article here this week on The Wrap. This is done by Tony Maglio on December 15th. The article says, NBC voices deep concerns over bad, inaccurate, and misleading new Nielsen system. Sounds pretty positive, right? Network ad sales boss Linda Yaccarino takes issue with the new total content ratings. And you heard from Michael Roth at the Paley event. This stuff is just so important. As Tony Maglio writes, NBC isn't sold on Nielsen's new total content ratings measurement, saying it fails in its ambition to track viewers across all platforms, not just TV. In a letter sent to Nielsen and obtained by The Wrap, NBC ad sales boss Linda Yaccarino expressed, quote, deep concerns over the product and said she doesn't want it to be released anytime soon. Yaccarino is all in favor of tracking viewership across multiple platforms, but said Nielsen's new measurement won't get the job done. Yaccarino also said TCR's, quote, premature release is irresponsible, end quote, adding that the system is, quote, bad, inaccurate, and misleading, end quote. I think I know what her opinion is. Nielsen plans a wide release of the product on March 1st still, though. Here's a snapshot of the most damning parts of the executive's note, laying out NBC's grievances with TCR. TCR, again, is total content ratings. Currently, TCR, according to NBC, has limited participation implementation across the industry. Leading pay TV operators and digital video distributors are still not incorporated in TCR. TCR employs disparate digital data collection methods using a mix of panel, census, and custom measurement, YouTube, that is not yet vetted. TCR is not agnostic. It takes a, quote, black box approach to using opaque Facebook data for deduplication of audiences that is also not tested. And we heard earlier that Facebook even has issues. TCR delivers panel-based measurement for VOD, which requires census-level measurement. TCR provides partial and incomplete representations of OTT viewership. Again, OTT is over the top. TCR lacks standardized reporting hierarchy across all measured entities. TCR has no quality control measure for digital fraud, viewability, or completion rate. TCR fails to measure out